People are saying Tara Reade's own friends don't believe her. She shows signs of being not sound of mind. She could have been put up to this or manipulated into believing that this happened to her. Monica Lewinsky was credible, told people immediately. Wait, so did Tara Reade. Jack shit. Blasey Ford had a story that matched Kavanaugh's own evidence. This ain't the same as Kavanaugh. Wait, what? What are you talking about? This is just one piece of evidence. The other piece of evidence was that she was actually let go and that she no longer worked with the interns. The other piece of evidence on top of that is that she did inform people in her near vicinity at the time, literally just like Dr. Christine Blasey Ford. Christine Blasey Ford testimony, which was also covered by Ryan Grimm, if you remember, was intercepted by Ryan Grimm, if you remember. Oh, Holly Otterbein found the video audio already. And also Tara Reade said that this is her mother's voice. Oh, wow, guys. Oh, fuck, dude. It seems like the story is falling apart. What's the next point? I literally just said this is going to come out eventually. It's just a fucking transcript. What's the next point? Actually, she was coached into believing that this is her mother's voice and that she's lying and this is not her mother's voice.
Richard Allen, former national security advisor, and Lois Romano of the Washington Post. San Luis Obispo, California. Hello.
Yes, hello. I'm wondering what a staffer would do besides go to the press in Washington. My daughter has just left there after working for a prominent senator and could not get through with her problems at all. And the only thing she could have done was go to the press, and she chose not to do it out of respect for him.
Or she had a story to tell, but out of respect for the person she worked for, she didn't tell it.
That's true.
Now, but these are the people who do come to the Lois Romanos, right?
That's bullshit, and you know it, and you were scared of me coming on explaining how this is happening? Wait, what? No, I'm not. What the fuck are you talking about? Hold on.
The staff worker who says, I want to let you know about what's going on, either with my boss or the guy down the hall.
And a lot of these people have a sense of obligation. They feel that this public official should be accountable if it's...
All the sourcing on the video being released right now tells you where this is coming from? What, Holly Otterbein of Politico? Really? That Holly Otterbein of Politico is I don't think he's baiting me. She didn't post the video. She confirmed it. Okay, what fucking difference does it make? This is no different than when fucking libs say WikiLeaks. This is no difference than when, like attacking the leak, attacking the source of the leak, and disparaging its political biases is literally 101 defense. It's like the first. She didn't post the video. She retweeted it. She didn't confirm it. Sourcing of the info tells you where this is coming from. Is this a fake video? It matches with the transcript. What is it? Is it a deep fake? Can you explain this to me? Is it a deep fake video that we're looking at?
Whistleblowers to the press.
Husband and dad to $4. Journalist, producer. NBC investigates. ABC, Fox News.
San Luis.
What's up? The video isn't fake. It isn't proof. It is her mom. Bring me on to explain. This is a rat fuck. They went through like the Larry King archives, looked at, like, out of all the TV shows that they could have looked at, they went to the Larry King archives. They found finally with Larry King's show that there was it's not a deep state agent. I know who H. Bazil is here. I'll call him on right now. I'll bring him on. Here, go ahead. Yeah, I know. Christina Cuomo, Chris Cuomo's wife, bathe in bleach or something, I think. It's insane. In Clorox. I know.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. All right.
Okay, so like earlier, this is why I was telling me that this is a concerted Oppo research operation, okay? Earlier, not Fox News in your chat.
Of course it's a concerted Oppo research operation. What do you mean?
Yeah. Well,
wait, that doesn't change the reality that it's real, though. You need to discredit
Whoa, let me just explain.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, first. And then you can come at it. Not Fox News originally put up a link of the video first going up and being tweeted by someone named Matt Houck, I think. I think that's what it was. And oh look, not Fox News looking at not Fox News. Can you repost that link in the chat? I saw him put it up. He like tagged you.
What is
When
it,
you
like
click through the link-
Newsbusters or some shit? It was bullshit.
Yeah, it was
a
from
bullshit research.
Newsbusters.
Yeah,
Newsbusters is the source.
Okay, but that doesn't matter. The origination of the origination of the video does not change the veracity of the information. Like,
wait,
if
the
this
video
was,
only confirms that the transcript that Ryan Grimm reported on
just
actually
like
happened.
hold on, just like this being definitely Oppo research backed, which it most likely is, does not change the reality that it happened. So my take is, and my take always is consistently the same on these issues. Like, I will look at the information, I will look at the outlet that is promoting the information, and I will look at where the information originated from. Definitely, sometimes there are biases, okay? And it absolutely does have the capacity. It absolutely does have the capacity to obfuscate from the truth. But that does not mean, in this circumstance, it is a trusted source that originally mentioned the transcript, gave a time and fucking place for it and everything else that matches up with Tara Reade, and then someone else went through and fucking found the archives before anyone else did.
Okay, so like this is what I think is happening with it. I agree with you. That could be.
Yeah, he's a
100%
fucking
what happened.
Newsbusters dipshit. Like, yeah, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah. Okay. But this is probably what happened. This is how you know this is how right wing media works and how like Republican Oppo works. They will go along and they will plant they will plant stories with people to report to confirm a narrative that's already going on. In this case, you have a narrative that a Biden staffer, which has been confirmed in the past, a long time ago, was let go as an intern. Okay. There are records for people changes of employment on Capitol Hill that are public record. Anyone can go through and dig that up. So a good opposition researcher will go in and pull those records that are federal records that you can get, they're on Legistorm, I believe, right? That'll actually show when people's employment is going on. Now, a lot of times they will go through and match up. Well, did this person keep working? What are they doing now? They're able to, with a presidential opposition research operation, you have enough people to go through and find the people who literally got out of politics entirely. All right. Now, you could take that person, right? And that person might have an axe to grind. I don't know. Giving her this woman the benefit of the doubt, though, that maybe, something did happen, right? That could be entirely true. I do not dismiss that. But however, there's enough evidence of this case where the New York Times did a thorough dive and thought there wasn't enough to entirely believe it, right?
Okay, wait, hold on. I'm going to stop you briefly here. Did the editor-in-chief of New York Times openly state that the Biden campaign made them take out a portion of the article that was that they literally took out of the article in an update?
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, do you remember what the statement was? I'm gonna paraphrase here. If you don't remember what the statement was.
I don't remember.
The statement was that there have been no similar accusations against Joe Biden outside of his public displays of his public displays around women. His like I forget what the exact quote was. We can pull it aside from patterns and public displays of like what's the fucking cake? What was it? Like he was just touching and sniffing. That's what it was. He fucking touches and sniffs. Yeah. Okay.
We've all seen the video.
Yeah, they took that out. Okay, they took that out. And when asked about why they took that out, they literally said because the Biden campaign wanted us to. Okay.
Well, but that is what good campaigns will go in and fight.
I understand, but doesn't that
I've done that on campaigns I've been on.
I know, but doesn't that also, if you are this skeptical about resources and where information is coming from, doesn't that also make it kind of doesn't that make you also kind of skeptical of the New York Times accuracy of reporting when it comes to this issue, especially when it's related to the Biden campaign, and especially the timing of when this article was written and published to begin with, the day after fucking Bernie dropped out and Biden was the presumptive nominee?
Well, but I think
it was for 2 weeks, or it was for a week and a half that this information was readily available, and the New York Times refused to cover it.
Bow Bow, I see that. You should shut the fuck up. It wasn't sarcasm. All right. Now, I think
just answer
part
the
of the
question.
reason this.
Do you think that raises at least a little, like?
Oh no.
Does that raise alarm bells in your head a little bit?
It raises more alarm bells that came out at that point that Republican operatives were pitching the story right at that time because they knew the primary was ending. So they've been sitting on this the whole time. Why did this accusation only really come out full force, right?
Okay, that's a different conversation that we're going to get to. I am just asking you right now because the opposition research. New York
Times have bias. Yes,
the origination of the story being Oppo research does not make it untrue. Monica Lewinsky was a consequence of opposition research as well. Like all of these.
And I agree with that. But Monica Lewinsky had much more research. There were tapes of her telling the story. She had physical evidence.
Of course, right? the circumstances are different. She was working with the fucking president. Like it's different.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
yeah.
So, but again, my take is you have the capacity to understand that like Oppo research does not immediately disqualify the veracity of the claims or what actually happened, and you admit that is true. That was the truth in the case of Monica Lewinsky, and I haven't seen enough counter evidence to disprove Tara Reade's claims. Okay, and what I mean by that is, and I've been very deliberate and very careful when I cover Me Too stories, when I cover instances of sexual assault. I like to be as careful as possible when I'm looking at this stuff, and I didn't immediately talk this much about Tara Reade in the beginning as well. I didn't know what the details were. I was already in a bad place because it was right after Bernie had dropped out anyway. But I always say the same things. There are 3 factors that I look to. Are there instances of the perpetrator doing this publicly or privately? Okay, like bad behavior, which can be vague, sure, but hair sniffing, I would, and like not and violating women's personal space very publicly is bad behavior that is in line with the rest of the accusations. Are there other accusers out there? And there are other accusers that have accused, but some of them have been discredited. Okay. And lastly, did the alleged victim tell other people in her near vicinity? Okay. The 4th one, which is usually the complete lockdown, 100% true, like, or makes it much more likely that it's true, is obviously that she go to the authorities. But you and I both know that in the circumstances in 1993, going to the authorities is, come on, it's not fucking happening.
And also Capitol Hill has a long history, and on the Democratic side, a long history of specifically U.S. senators behaving inappropriately. One thing that hasn't been said on this video, like a counter to it, is at that time there are also other former Democratic senators who were notoriously, inappropriate, to say the least, that were still on the Hill. Some very famous ones that I'm sure you know of. Hassan.
Yeah, I mean they fuck little boys too, like Republicans and Democrats both. Like it's just they do that. That doesn't change. That only makes it more likely that it happened. But
let me tell the one thing on this. I'm not discounting that any of this could have happened. I don't think we know enough. I agree with you, right? However, these are my issues. There are people who know Tara Reade who are saying that they're not sure they believe her, right? The amount of times she actually told people isn't entirely clear back then, right? And the problem right now is the timing of this. You would say the timing is suspect because the New York Times reported on it right after basically essentially the primary was over.
Yeah.
I would argue inversely that that actually provides more evidence that the dropping of this story hitting was timed to hit right when Joe Biden became the presumptive nominee. And to me, that tells me
why wasn't the October or October surprise? Why wasn't this the fucking, like, why didn't, if this was the silver bullet that you claimed the opposition research was going to make it, why did they drop it right after the primaries when there's enough time to fucking debunk it instead of drop it hot right before the fucking, right before it's the final silver bullet?
Their only goal is to cause disunity in the Democratic Party. And the easiest way to do that is to drop it at a point in time.
Dude, you're a political operative. You know that the most fortuitous time to drop this would not be immediately after the primary. It was because there was
I
public
would
pressure.
disagree.
It was because there was public pressure on top of. It was public pressure being mounted against the New York Times and other mainstream media outlets from the broader Democratic electorate. That was the reason why they held off as much as they could before doing their thorough investigation, and did their thorough investigation literally at the end point, like once the primary was over, and they revealed their thorough investigation, which had conflicting information in and of itself, and which had actual significant parts taken out of it at the behest of the Biden campaign, which immediately, in my opinion, destroys the credibility of that of not only the publication, which is a long history of obfuscating the truth, obviously, as you and I both know when it comes to matters of foreign policy, but definitely destroys the veracity of that individual article itself. As long as there is when there is a rapist on the one hand, let's say, and a newspaper that is working openly with that rapist, alleged rapist, on the other hand, like, that article is bullshit. And not only is this hilarious because it's so similar to Weinstein, the person who is involved on the Biden campaign is literally the same person who offered Harvey Weinstein pro bono PR when he was being investigated by Ronan Farrow.
Yeah, well, that's trying to bring together two different issues, though.
Okay, I'm just saying that, like, Anita Dunn has a lot of PR contacts, and this is her specialty.
Oh, I agree. That's why she gets paid a lot of money, and she does a good job on PR usually.
Yeah, she does a good job. She does a good job defending and misinforming the public when her high-paying contacts and friends are outed as rapists, or are the precipice of being outed as rapists.
But Hassan, I think you don't see how this is we have a disagreement on political timing. I actually think the most important time that's key to ensuring Trump has a better chance of winning is actually causing enough disunity in the Democratic Party's base of voters that you have a similar effect of what happened in 2016. The best way to do that is not to have just one drop of opposition research hitting right at the time when the primary is ending, when you still have people that are advocating that Bernie should continue all the way to the convention, a small amount, right? Not a lot, but a small amount. Yeah, that actually allows you to string along.
When Bernie himself has already dropped out and is not doing it.
Yeah, but they are dumping right now online en masse in huge amounts, because right now the Trump campaign is outraising the entirety of the DNC and the Biden campaign by a factor of 10, right? They are dumping online all sorts of disinformation and ads, and also pumping up social media to try and extend the disunity, because that's his only hope for winning at this point, right? Right now, the only way Donald Trump wins is if he's able to suppress young people, people who are people of color, which he does through legal means, right? Young people and progressives, in effect, by causing them to question whether or not Biden would be a good nominee. Now, I freely admit that Joe Biden is not perfect, right? But I think that the timing of this actually lends to a very deliberate and sophisticated strategy to create that division all the way to Election Day. And there's going to be more text.
I totally 100% disagree with you, because the people that don't like Joe Biden and don't want Joe Biden to be president are not going to vote for Joe Biden in November. Okay, so I don't think that you're going to be able to sow any more. You're not going to be able to pick up more people on the Democratic primary voter side to not vote for Joe Biden. The real thing, timing wise, it would have been infinitely better to do it, because you and I both know that the general electorate and the primary electorate are totally different, and that are not totally different, but definitely much larger and much less out of touch and much less in tune with what's going on in the internal dynamics between the Democratic Party. So that's one thing. That's one thing. That's the reason why I believe the timing would be better if this was a silver bullet. If it was closer to the election.
But the margins are so close.
Okay, but the other thing. Hold on.
35,000 people changed their vote in 2016 across 3 states, and Hillary Clinton's president.
Okay,
that's an infinitesimally small.
Wait, what? Yeah, but I'm already saying that it would have been better. It would have hit a larger number of people than the 5,000 individuals that we're talking about. That's actually a lot better. the timing of it would be a lot better. That's why,
but Hassan, the amount of people that are movable as voters is incredibly small, and highly partisan people. There's a lot of research that shows this are actually more movable with new information. So dropping it right now and having a small sliver of the Democratic primary elected be like, I'm walking away from this. I'm not doing it. That could be incredibly decisive in a country.
So you don't think that those people would, if it was an October surprise, you don't think that those people would still move? They would. They absolutely would. Timing of this now is it's literally less opportune than timing it.
Yeah, but you're not thinking of
hit a larger,
resources,
broader piece of the electorate that is actually paying attention. Those hyper-partisans are hyper-partisan, hyper-political people are going to also change their minds in a similar capacity, whether it was now or it was fucking, 10 months down. I mean, whatever, in October. That doesn't change that reality.
Yeah, but
unless you have evidence that those hyper-partisan people that want Bernie Sanders to still be the president are gonna now abandon their principles or whatever and become loyalist Biden heads, and then that October surprise is not going to impact them. Let alone the many different times that this has actually swung the outcome of an election or has been genuinely impactful. That's the reason why there is a term October surprise, as you know, since 1972. So but it doesn't even matter. We don't even need to have this argument because political opposition, Oppo research or not, that does not destroy the veracity of the claims or what happened. So that was my original point anyway.
I'm not saying
I'm entertaining
the
the timing argument because I think it favors me, but that doesn't even matter. The conversation that we should be having right now is how you think this information was pieced together, that was a deliberate and coordinated effort, and beyond the deliberate and coordinated effort, why it was false.
Love the spirit of justice.
Okay, well, but this is all right. So this is what I think on this. I don't think we can discount her claims. I just think we should look at them skeptically, because so far we have very little evidence of it happening. Right? You use as evidence. You said she did tell some people. All right, that might be true. Also, those people could be saying they heard it then and maybe didn't. The only thing we know that is actually 100% true that Biden's office has confirmed is she was an intern or staff at some point, and then she was let go.
She was in charge of the interns. She wasn't just an intern that was staff.
Well, then she's staff.
She was in charge of the interns, and the interns confirmed that she no longer was in charge of them and that they were not given any other further information as to why. So the timing of that absolutely does match up with what Tara Reade had said, her personal account.
Yeah, but okay, that might be the case, but that's not actual evidence of the sexual assault, right? That's actually just saying that there was an issue.
Okay, but that doesn't change the fact that she told numerous people, and this new piece of evidence is pretty damning. You have to admit, regardless of the opposition research nature of it.
That she told them though. That's what I haven't seen. If I saw that, I'd be changed. Maybe I'm just ignorant of that.
Wait,
which could be the case.
She did go up the ranks. The going up the ranks is now a he said, she said situation amongst 1993 Joe Biden, Joe Biden staff versus Tara Reade, and the staff would be literally culpable. So why the fuck would they admit that, like, oh yeah, Tara Reade did come to me, when they are already longtime Biden allies and literally would not say, like, it's in their best interest to say, yeah, no, I don't remember this person coming to me at all.
Yeah, but
even though she did tell other people at the time who have confirmed that. And beyond that, now we have this where she told her mom, and her mom, unless you think this is a random person that happens to be from the same county as her mom at the same time as she was fucking fired, talking about a senator that her daughter worked for.
Yeah, but so the evidence we have is her claim that she went up the ranks, and the other people are saying she didn't, right? The issue is, though, we don't have much evidence of her telling other people outside of that office, or claiming to tell other people outside of that office, right? That's the issue to me. Like, Christine Blasey Ford told numerous friends. Monica Lewinsky told Linda Tripp, right? Until we see that, that is a third party validator.
So you're saying that Tara Reade is lying and that she did not actually tell
No,
Biden's
I'm saying
staff.
we don't know. And that, to your point,
that's why there is numerous other people that she did tell. Tara Reade didn't Tara Reade told other people. Like,
yeah, but who are? I haven't seen a list of those people. I haven't seen any of the the New York Times story. I don't think confirmed she told
well, it seems like her mom was aware of what was happening at the time.
Wait, you're making an assumption. This is her mom. This is where I have a huge issue with this.
Wait,
okay,
what?
The only brief we wait.
So she's lying about this being her mom then, because Tara Reade already confirmed
that could be
this is her
totally
mom.
true. That could be entirely possible. Why do you believe this is 100% her mom? Like this. All right, you want to know how I would game this if this is completely fake? Like Hassan, I would go and find a listing of staffers that left the Biden office and see if there's any that have a either a stone to grind or just aren't explained why they left. Right? You could then go and find some random when you're doing Oppo researchers go through hours and hours and hours of tape. There's the neighbor above me works for America Rising, for example, right? Huge Republican Oppo shop. All he's supposed to do every goddamn day.
Dude, I know how Oppo works. I know how Oppo works. I know.
Someone was watching old clips and would have filed this away at some point in the last 20 years on the Republican side. Okay. Now, if you're doing that, right? We have seen where Republicans have taken.
Why would they know it's a Democratic senator if they're doing Oppo research? Why would they know that
they might not? They wouldn't know that. They would just file it away as something to potentially link together later. That's how Oppo works. You just go and find information, you put it away sometimes because you'll stumble upon stuff not related to the client you're working for that might have value later. All right. So once you're done doing that, the Republican side has a long history through James O'Keefe and other actors of literally concocting stories, right?
Yeah, but the difference between James O'Keefe, who was very successful, by the way, when it comes to Acorn, and not as successful for other shit, is that he does actually make shit up. Like, what you're saying now is that these are people who were who found the perfect time, perfect place person and are literally training her, are training Tara Reade to lie about what happened in 1993.
We've seen Republicans do that. I think the fact you're willing to not dismiss the possibility.
What is it? What is it going to be? Is it just Joe Biden
right?
literally fingering Tara Reade? If there's a video of that, will you say okay, I guess
no. All right, that's bullshit. That's like taking this to the extreme. I think that there needs to be evidence of her telling more clearly other people, okay, back around the time that happened, who are not in that office, related to that office, potentially friends and other stuff. There hasn't been a lot of that has come out yet.
No, because it's a literal he said, she said at this point between Tara Reade, who is allegedly a victim of sexual assault, and Biden staffers who are literally, okay?
This is what
personally invested in lying at this point, to save their own asses, even if they fucking don't like Joe Biden.
Yeah, and you give all the leniency in the world to believe that the Biden staffers could be all lying, right? You give no leniency or no length of doubt to the fact that there could be lying on the other side as well. That's all I'm asking you to keep open in your mind.
Course, H. Bizzle, because one is infinitely more probable than the other. And whether it be historic precedent of people in positions of power that work for powerful people engaging in mass cover-ups, or when it comes to sexual assault, this exact thing that we're talking about, or literally just common sense to be yeah, I was a fucking staffer. I still like Joe Biden. I still work with him. Or I was a fucking high-ranking staff official in this Me Too, post-Me Too era. I'm not going to fucking be yeah, totally. I engaged in... I totally helped cover up that there was sexual assault when Joe Biden was a senator. Why the fuck would they admit that? Are you crazy? Versus a gigantic... I am not
discounting.
Versus a conspiracy between...
any incentive on the other side.
Versus... Which one's more probable? That a Biden staffer said... I don't remember this. I don't recall this person saying...
We have not had other accusations like this come out.
No, just tell me. Just answer this question. It's a very simple question. What is more probable for you? A Biden staffer saying, I don't recall that this person came to me, okay, out of their own personal interest to cover their asses, okay, and also not get additional flack. Or Tara Reade being put up for this by Republican or whatever Russian, I guess, assets or whatever the fuck liberals are saying, assets that came to her and fed her this story and put her up for this story and are now making her lie in a coordinated effort. And this person that called in to Larry King is actually not even Tara Reade's mom. This is someone else.
Yeah,
This
wait,
is the
let's
mother
go
of a
back to that.
daughter
Let's
who
go
was
back to the
also
video.
additionally
Let's go back to
potentially
the
maybe
video.
sexual. What?
You are claiming it's Tara Reade's mom. The only evidence we have it's Tara Reade's mom is that this person happened to call in and say they're from San Luis Obispo, okay?
No,
And that
also Tara Reade
Reade is
confirmed it.
claiming-
Oh, no, Tara Reade also confirmed it.
She didn't confirm it.
Yes,
She's
she did.
claiming it, okay?
No, she did. She did confirm it. It's literally right here. She said, "This is my
No,
mom."
no. I said that's not confirmation. That is her saying it's her mom, okay? We don't know if that's true or not. If you're looking at this from a clerical perspective, you just have her saying that that's the case. We do not actually know that that is actually the case. That is just a claim at this point. We can't verify. Wait. Do we have any? Did she say on the call into Larry King, "Oh, I'm Tara Reade's mom"? Of course not. She didn't say that, right?
Yeah, obviously
Do we
she
have
didn't
any
say that
evidence
because
of the
she was
phone
already
number or where it
she
came
was
from?
literally asking for advice on like on her daughter's situation where like she didn't even know if her daughter didn't even want to reveal this information because of how damning it could have been.
Yeah,
Like-
and you know what? I can believe maybe it could be her mom, but I don't think there's any confirmation it is. Just listening to her saying, "Yeah, that's my
the
mom."
timing
Until we
matches
hear
up with
another-
Tara
wait,
Reade. The
until we
timing
hear
matches up with
another
Tara Reade being
recording of
fired,
the
and
mom. We need to hear another recording of the mom's voice to try and verify it.
Okay, the timing
from
matches
another
up.
source.
The timing matches up with Tara Reade being fired, and also Tara Reade confirmed it. So that's two pieces of evidence. And then the last one being that she is like the St. Louis Obispo is where Tara Reade's mom is from at the time, was living there. Like,
Yeah.
so do we need to, okay, like, I guess the last one is that we need a forensic speech pathologist to verify. And I'm assuming
I don't think we actually need that. I think we just need another recording of the mom to see if it's anywhere close. Okay. Like, I think just believing 100% everything Tara Reade is saying is nuts. Like, you would never do that if you were even being completely sympathetic to her claims, because she could be completely wrong, and then you could be just taking
Grim is saying that the Right Wing Media Research Center posted this video not long after I posted the transcript, which means they were sitting on it. Which means they were sitting on it, waiting, and this was coming out whether the Intercept broke it or not.
Yeah, but that just shows that Ryan Grimm was probably pitched by someone on the right, like maybe from the Trump campaign, with this data. The whole thing.
By the way, her mom is dead,
fucking
which is
concocted
convenient,
story.
I guess, right? Like, maybe
exactly.
maybe they killed her mom too.
Oh no, that's not it. Maybe they found someone who has a passed away mother, so they can't confirm any of this. That's the problem with the mom being dead. Okay, like, we don't have her to confirm this is her or not. That's like super convenient.
Okay,
so
the only thing you've told me thus far is that you just don't believe Tara Reade. Like, that's it. Like no matter what amount of evidence comes out. No,
that's not it. I don't think we can say 100% this is her mom making this claim in this video. That's my only gripe.
So,
I don't
what's
know.
the alternative then? Then someone from St. Louis Obispo, literally right around the time that Tara Reade got fired, okay, from where is like talking about another rape?
Wait. What confirmation of that Tara Reade is from San Luis Obispo do we have besides Ryan Grimm reporting that she said she was from there, though? That's the other thing. Like, this is what is so key.
Did you read the article?
I haven't read all the way through it.
You read the article in its entirety?
No, I have not.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering where in the article.
Well, the evidence is property records.
I also have 90 the King heir to program.
According to property records, Reade's mother, Jeanette Altimus, was living in St. Louis Obispo County.
Okay. Well, I mean, wait. This is me going through this like at a very granular detail of how I would approach something professionally, right? What evidence do we even have that that's her mother's maiden name? That's another thing. You have to go through this point by point. Otherwise, you start going with stuff that might not be verified and might not be true. That's all I'm asking you and chat to think about for a second. Like, just the fact Ryan Grimm's a great reporter, right? But, he, depending on what, it doesn't even lay out what proof he has that actually is Reade's mom's name, right? You have to go through and verify all this shit. And I think until you actually do that, then you can't make the assumption that this video is just like true, right?
Wait, are you so the alternative is that like this is someone else with the same name as Tara Reade's mom living in the area, and like Tara Reade's mom is living somewhere else?
How do we know that is Tara Reade's mom's name? Right? You know, like,
well, at some point you have to trust. I mean, do you do this kind of?
Wait. Okay, if this was a legal proceeding, they would need documented proof coming forward.
But
right?
we're not in a
that
we're not in a court
is
setting.
the main name of the mom.
H-Bizzle, we're not in a court setting. At some point you have to trust.
I agree.
The news reporting of people that have dedicated their entire lives to reporting the news accurately.
Why would I trust the media reporting over one outlet over another and not have a
okay, then Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, which was reported by the same, you have to sit here and openly tell me. You have to sit here and tell me that Ryan Grimm's reporting and also
could be wrong.
as a consequence of Ryan Grimm's reporting, the entirety of the Dr. Christine Blasey Ford.
You cannot admit that it could be incorrect and there could be a mistake made. It's not deliberate, but there's always mistakes made. Okay, and you have to account for that. There's bias in everything.
I'm confused. So you're saying that like the same guy that broke, the same guy that was responsible for the Christine Blasey Ford story.
Yeah, but that's one story. This is another. Just because someone broke a story on one thing doesn't mean they have all the facts straight with another. Now, does he have a record of reporting, strong reporting? Yeah, I'd agree 110%. Okay. But also, he is saying that that's Reade's mom, right? Well, how do we know that? They could have found a Jeanette Altimus that match the Jeanette on the name.
I think we need the birth certificate at this point. I think.
Oh, no, that's not necessary. But I mean, I think there needs to be verification of the facts because someone could have been digging through video archives, right? And found this a long time ago.
Did I misunderstand that, or did you literally say we need a DNA test to confirm that this is her mom?
I didn't say a DNA test. What the fuck?
Oh, okay. I didn't understand. Maybe like.
No, I think you need to have skepticism on all angles of this, okay?
Yeah, but no such skepticism on your end is afforded to any of the other side. Like, even though you yourself admitted that it's yourself admitted personally just, 2 to 3 minutes ago that, of course, it is more reasonable for the Biden staffer to lie than a widespread conspiracy between Republican operatives. So you don't.
I said
so you think it's more reasonable that Tara Reade is being. So you think it's more reasonable? It's a higher likelihood that a chief of staff or a staffer on the Biden campaign who is still, a lifetime friend to Joe Biden, okay, is not trying to cover their own ass. You think it's more likely that Tara Reade was coached to
potentially. There's wonderful examples of things like this happening, including in the Monica Lewinsky
what are there
case,
more examples of, you think?
Hey,
what are there more examples of, you think? People in positions of power covering their own asses? Especially in instances of sexual assault? Or
You're not going to bring it up. Well, wait. I think there could be coaching. I don't think that's...
Okay,
I don't think that's
but I'm asking you a question. What's more probable? What is more likely?
I don't think we know. I think you make the assumption that one thing is more probable than the other without knowing all the facts, and relying on a report that does not lay out the facts in detail and makes assertions that aren't backed up with anything except the person making the accusation.
One second. It's a very simple question. Are you telling me right now that we do not know what's more likely, like on trends, as far as like trends and historical precedent goes?
Yeah, you were making an assumption that
people in positions of power. Wait, hold on. Just let me finish the question. That people in positions of power don't fucking cover their own asses, and in many instances, literally cover for sexual assault accusations and bury it, than it is to coach women to lie about sexual assault. Like, what's more likely is what I'm asking you. Do people coach women to lie about sexual assault?
In this country. There's way more.
Do staffers cover up for their bosses and themselves in instances of sexual assault accusations?
Staffers play CYA every day. They go into work and they breathe in any type of office in this world, not just in politics. Okay, so yeah, there's a high likelihood that it could be that, but there's also a likelihood, considering how coordinated all this looks right now, where primary ends. Story of sexual assault allegation drops against the presumptive nominee. You have accusations that match up with a randomly found video on Larry King, which is suspect. How did anyone in their right mind find this video in the first place? That goes back to my point that this was
because
built
it's fucking Oppo. Because it's absolutely Oppo research.
Yeah, but wait. Why would they know to find this exact video so quickly going back? Like, why would they go back and look at Larry King transcripts from the 90s, 1993, to try and like find evidence of this, right? That makes like very little sense of why they would go there. That wouldn't be a standard way for doing Oppo.
Or maybe Ryan Grimm dug through, or like you said.
I doubt that. He was given this for sure. This isn't him.
Ryan Grimm was given this.
Ryan Grimm
was given this transcript.
Wait,
Why wasn't he given the video?
How long was Larry King on the air? He was on 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year. So that's what? That's 2,500.
Ryan Grimm was leaked
plus shows
this.
over
Ryan
over
Grimm
20
was
years,
leaked this.
2,500.
For the sake of this argument, which is something that I could probably verify, I don't know if he would leak his sources, but for the sake of this argument, Ryan Grimm, let's say, was leaked this information. Okay.
Okay.
Why wasn't the leak comprehensive with the video?
Because,
why was it just transcripts?
Because to get a story to play out, it is better to drop certain information in one source, drop other information in another source, and then you get longer coverage and you get a media cycle that lasts longer. So a good example, in my own professional career, all right? I dealt with a candidate one time who was making, our opponent was making insane claims of working with a major government entity and like moving a headquarters somewhere, right? So we challenged the first story that reported this. I challenged it very strongly, like to the point of yelling at a reporter on the phone for an hour. I know chat is surprised that I would ever do that, right? Now, we didn't have the evidence at that time, but we knew it was bullshit, right? We then FOIA'd a document and videotaped the opponent candidate making these claims. And over time, we dropped the video. Then we waited and dropped the FOIA. So then they would report back on the report that came before that of us making the accusation that they were being false. And we had the government saying they were. We got a longer media cycle out of it. We got more coverage and helped us win the election because the final 4 weeks of the election were all about this motherfucker line.
Okay,
right?
Okay, I didn't even listen to the Tara Reade conversation with Katie Halper, like in its entirety. Okay, so I can't even but she here is mentioning that. Thank you, Ryan Grimm. I discussed the Larry King call with reporters last year and on Katie Halper publicly.
Well, then that could explain why to your point, why the video was found, because those reporters probably blabbed to Republican operatives who then dug it up for them. Okay, that's how it usually works.
Okay, but doesn't that also eliminate the possibility of coordination from before?
No, it doesn't, because all right.
So they coached her to also. They could have gone into. So they coached her to also say Larry King so that they could conveniently release this information. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, potentially.
Because Ryan says a viewer reached out. A listener found this call and sent it to me. Is what Ryan is saying. A listener found the call when a listener listened to the Katie Halper interview. Okay. And found the transcripts. And you know as well as I do that keyword searches through old transcripts is much simpler than finding the fucking footage.
Well, yeah, but it could have, if someone like potentially knew, this call in the past, they would have done a keyword search around like senator or something and found this. That's how they would have found this if they wanted to like set the whole thing up about it. That's not impossible to believe. But also a listener found this call and sent it to me, right? That also could be, like someone
posing as a listener.
Yeah, exactly. That happens all the time. Like people drop stuff through ulterior means all the time. Like you think that doesn't happen? Come on. I just think, all right, Hassan,
I know how powerful the opposition research and think tank industry is. So that's the only reason why I'm entertaining everything that you're saying. And also because you are someone who has worked in politics for a long time. So that's the reason why I'm entertaining this, but you have to hear yourself at some point where every single new piece of information that comes up ends up with you moving the goalpost. That means you don't have a well-established argument beyond the foundations of, I think she was coached personally.
But my argument is only to be skeptical. I think we still have to be skeptical. There's enough
but you're not offering the same level of skepticism to a thing that I think you and I both would agree on as far as the likelihood of a staffer covering up their own ass versus high impact coaching. I know you You already agree with me on that.
But you're not willing to take the,
but you're choosing to be more skeptical of Tara Reade's accusations instead of
because
the
I
other
think
part.
because to
And
me
that
there's
your
signs of a
entire
pattern
argument
I've seen before.
presupposes that there was coaching here. Like
Well,
just
that's
saying
only-
I'm being skeptical is not a good enough cop out, is what I'm saying.
All right, and that's fair, but I think it's because I see patterns related to a Oppo research operation being done on this whole thing.
By the way, leads me to my main point, which is that opposition research does not, and I already acknowledged that
And I agree
this is definitely, there is definitely opposition research involved in this. Don't be crazy.
Yes.
But opposition research does not mean it's untrue. And that's why you chose to use James O'Keefe as an example. James O'Keefe is not Oppo. James O'Keefe is a hatchet guy. It's different.
Well,
They base their assumptions off of opposition research. But there's a reason why you linked it to James O'Keefe, and there's a reason why before the video came out, which happened in the process of this conversation, that you said that the transcript might not be her. So, like, the reason why your goalposts keep shifting is because there is an insane amount of evidence on one side, and not a lot beyond pure speculation and pre-existing trends about the accuracy of opposition research, or pre-existing trends about opposition research.
I do not think I have a strong argument. Okay, I'm not going to disagree with that. I think that we just need some skepticism until we learn more. All right, and my only reason is my impression of this is that there is a clear pattern of how this is being released that resembles a hatchet job potentially. Now, it could be completely wrong. I think we just need to have some skepticism as opposed to running together off a cliff into just embracing that the presumptive nominee of the Democratic Party sexually assaulted someone. I don't think it's unreasonable to sit back and say we just need to learn some more and maybe be skeptical. But considering NPR, it's a good point. Katie Halper reporting that NPR interviewed Tara Reade's friend but refused to air it. Why did they do that, right? We've heard from other people saying that other friends of Tara Reade don't believe her. So I think there's some things to the story that provide some doubt. You have two media entities. One, I would say NPR, that's highly unbiased compared to a lot of others, right? Would you agree that NPR is a less biased entity than the New York Times?
I mean, yeah, but it doesn't matter in this circumstance because we already know how much power the Biden camp and the DNC and like all other individuals involved in this have over these media outlets, as evidenced by the fact that the New York Times, the fucking most important newspaper on the fucking planet, openly stated that they changed an article at the behest of the Biden campaign. So like,
but that's because the Biden campaign probably argued
more credible than the NPR. Like,
those arguments to kill parts of stories like that are based around whether or not something is a fact or conjecture.
But it is a fact. Are you going to tell me that Are you going to tell me right here that Joseph Robinette Biden does not have widely reported instances of bad behavior around women where he violates their personal space on a regular basis, something that he himself had to apologize for in the beginning of his campaign?
And that is why I do not entirely discount Tara Reade's story. Okay, I think there are issues with that, but I think that there could be also issues on the other side, and it could be people taking advantage of that. I think we just need to wait and see if there's more. And there's parts of, you and I both agree, we read a diverse set of media sources, Hassan, right? I send you all sorts of random ass shit all the time.
Sure.
I think that the fact that two media outlets had hesitation on reporting this, one, NPR, that I think has very little, the Democratic establishment has very little influence over. Okay.
Wait, hold on. If they could kill the story, then why didn't they just fucking say Tara Reade's friends are lying? Then, if their goal is
because I don't think that I think that calling people liars gets a very dicey place, even legally potentially, right? And so I think they're trying to avoid that. Even like two reporters on it. But other people, apparently, NPR talked to some of her friends that had issues with it. I think that is very telling, and it should make us somewhat hesitant to just jump feet first into this thing.
Wait, then why isn't this? Wait, hold on. I literally don't understand what you're trying to say here. Like, if the media is coordinating, or if the media is just the honest reporter of truths, why aren't they destroying the story right now?
Because they are in the same position I'm advocating that we should be in a wait and see mode and see what else comes out.
Yeah, but no matter what happens,
because
you've already established that like every other piece of information that comes out is Oppo research and therefore not to be trusted is what you keep saying whenever new information keeps coming out. Like all you have done thus far, all you have done thus far is say, well, this new piece of information came out. Well, that
but I
might have
think
been that might be more evidence that there's coaching.
But I think
so unless you
I think
establish
that
that there's
depends on the
coaching,
information that
unless you
comes out.
establish
I
that
think
there's
that depends-
coaching, it's
I think
pretty.
that depends on the information that comes out. And I think that the fact that NPR didn't want to air the Friends interview could be that those reporters sense there's something wrong with this whole thing. Okay. And
Wait,
you and
but
I
why?
have not been in an
But this
interview
is
with
already
these friends.
mainstream. Why? Like this was already becoming mainstream. This was already mainstream, and there was a lot of public pressure on like mainstream media outlets not covering it, which is literally my argument that like that's the reason why they were coordinating and collaborating with the Biden campaign. Then why didn't they? Why haven't they destroyed the story?
Not coordinated is basically like the New York Times stuff, right? Well, the New York Times eventually did a story on it.
Yeah,
I think that there will be more
eventually,
stories
as
to
in
come.
once the primary was over, when there was so much public pressure that the New York Times released the story literally in a 24-hour period after the primaries was over, which means that they released the story, okay, in the first reasonable news cycle that they could if they wanted to impact Joe Biden the least. You agree with that, right? The timing of the release, the timing of the story being released is rather suspicious. There's also which these are all the things that you already admitted to. The timing of the release is rather suspicious. The fact that the New York Times openly admitted that they changed a part of the article that was real and true, that you also admitted to, that Biden has had like things that make women uncomfortable, and Biden has actually denied women agency throughout his career, very publicly and very visibly so, something that Biden himself has admitted to and has apologized for. Okay? So they took that part out. So they didn't even take a part out that was false or fake news. They literally took a part out that was real news.
Wait. I think they took that part out because that is not reporting. How do I phrase this? I don't think I can explain this in a way that would be sufficient to you or everyone else. But if you are looking at this unemotionally, that is like basically reporting someone's take on what you're seeing, right? Now, I don't discount it, okay? But I think that's why they got it pulled from the story, because the Biden campaign went to them and argued that this is not a cut and dry fact, right? This is an interpretation of how people view it.
Wait, what? You don't think it's a cut and dry fact that they themselves apologized for?
I am not saying that's what I believe. I'm saying that's what they argued. And that's how they got it pulled.
But that's not the truth, so it doesn't matter. Who cares what the fucking Biden campaign did? Like, that's literally not the truth. So obviously, this article was compromised.
That's how they got it pulled. That's what they used.
Okay, so they got it pulled by obfuscating the truth. And the New York Times, are you saying, are baby-brained and we're not capable of analyzing what the truth is when they originally wrote it in the article? And they did it? Or do you think that it was because
what would happen is the reporter and the editor would have discussed it probably with someone from the Biden campaign and been like, okay, this isn't necessarily a hard, black and white fact, right? This is an interpretation of these videos and these incidents we've seen.
But it is a black and white fact when the Biden campaign themselves had to apologize for it.
Yeah, no. Well, I understand that. But I think reporting it that way,
like if they had never talked about it, there's still mountains of evidence that even fucking CNN years ago, when Biden was untouchable and was the vice president, had talked about with his inappropriate.
I'm just telling you why I think it got pulled. I'm not telling you that I don't agree that there's an issue there. Okay.
So yeah, they obfuscated the truth. And we're capable, and we're able
but that could be able to
pull a story. That doesn't mean that it was right or real. That just means that they had pressure and power over the New York Times, and that's my argument. That is literally the point I'm making.
Yeah, and that's how the world works. And right now we're seeing that.
Okay, I know how the world works. That's why I'm literally talking about how the world works when I say, yeah, they were able to go to the New York Times and fucking get the story pulled because they have power over the New York Times. They have influence over the New York Times.
They have access to the candidate and the campaign. That provides influence. They have access probably to advertisers. That's all true. That's why things like this happen, right? That's why Dean Backwet actually admitted it to show and give cover to explain why it wasn't put in there, right? And also to get it out, probably. And so H. Bizzle is a Lamont plant. Wow, that's an old reference. No, I just think like, like I think we just need some skepticism on it, Hassan. I think just jumping in feet first that this recording is all
being skeptical is healthy of any sort of claims whatsoever.
Yeah. But
believe women does not mean believe women across the board all the time, nonstop, even when they may or may not be lying. Believe women just means do not instinctively disbelieve women. And everything right now that you're doing leads me to kind of feel like you are instinctively disbelieving this woman. Whereas there is plenty of evidence, whether it was opposition research, whether it was like literally opposition research or not, it seems like there's plenty of evidence that favors her, as you yourself admitted, that it's like your case here is loose. So that's why I'm choosing to believe Tara Reade in this circumstance.
No, and I agree with you. I just think I have skepticism because of how this information has been rolled out. That to me is the biggest problem with it. If this had came out, Christine Blasey Ford.
Okay, so do you agree with me on believing women? Do you agree with me on what I said, where I said believe women does not mean reflexively or instinctively disbelieving women, right?
I think that's true, and I'm not doing that.
So,
I'm
but
saying
you are
that
doing that. Do you know why you're doing that?
I have concern. I'm saying
I know, but you're doing that. No, that's a cop out. You saying you have concerns or you're skeptical is a cop out.
No, it isn't.
It
isn't.
No, because you literally are saying that Tara Reade is lying about that being her mom. So that means that you just don't believe her. Like you don't believe her.
Didn't. Wait. I didn't say that. I'm saying that we have nothing to verify that is her mom besides her claim. That's the only reason we have any verification. You're saying we should just trust her.
No, that's not the only reason. I've given you multiple reasons. She told other people. You're saying that her friends do not believe her without any evidence. Why are you trying to
move it away from the claim about the mom? Because that's the issue with the video. Okay.
Okay. You're saying you don't believe that it might not be her mom. You're saying that she might have lied about telling the Biden staffer. That just all signals to all of the evidence that has come out so far in this he said, she said dynamic. Conveniently leaves you siding with the power, with the people in a position of power in this circumstance. She personally confirmed that it was her mom, and you said, "Well, you don't believe her. Like that's not enough of a confirmation."
No, I'm saying we need to. I'm saying we need to confirm it through other means. And right now, I have not seen.
Okay, so do you think the personal confirmation from Tara Reade that this is in fact her mom? That was also literally living in that same that same zip code at the time that called into the Larry King show talking about her daughter, which was involved in a situation, in a sticky situation with a senator that matches up with the time that she got fired. Okay, are you saying that in the face of all of that evidence that you still need to be more skeptical of her, even though she has confirmed that this is her mom? Implying that you do not believe that this is her mom.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Okay, so you don't believe
because
women.
I think if you're what? No, well,
you believe women except Tara Reade.
No, that's not, and that is a terrible take on it. I just think that the way this has all been,
I don't know why you won't own it. Like you just don't believe her. Like you're admitting that you don't believe her, but when I ask you don't believe her.
No, wait. I don't know that. I am not sure of her claim. That's it. I don't disbelieve her 100% because you brought up a good reason why we should not disbelieve her, which is what Beckwith referred to. Okay. But also I think with an accusation like this that we should verify facts and make judgments based on that. And all we have right now. And the
verification that I brought forward in the article that you didn't read, unfortunately, was that it's literally the timing matches up with her being fired. The situation of this person being a senator and the details of the scenario matches up with this person's personal account. And beyond that, it's her mom, like it's the name of her mom, okay? And the same fucking place that they live in.
Yeah, well, yeah, but two of those things are claims made by Tara Reade that we haven't verified yet. I think we just need to verify that.
But the part of the information matches up because it's property records.
No. But a property record does not mean that's her mom. Do you not get that? All we have is proof that that is her mother. Is
No,
Tara Reade saying
no,
this
what
woman, Jeanette,
no,
whatever,
that's not
is
what
her
I'm
mother.
saying. I'm giving you 3 different pieces of evidence that you are failing to acknowledge is real evidence. Okay? 3 different pieces of evidence. 1, the timing of the firing matches up. Both the timing of the firing matches up with what fucking Tara Reade's account was. Okay? And what she's saying in that matches up with what Tara Reade's personal account was. 2, that like this was a senator, whatever, like we just mentioned that, like all of the information that the mom is talking about literally directly matches up with what Tara Reade has said in her accusations. 2, Tara Reade has said, this is my mom. So there's confirmation from Tara Reade, from the victim, allegedly, the alleged victim, that this is her mom. And 3, lastly, the last piece of evidence here is that not only just the timing matches up, but also that her property records, her mom's property records matches up with the place that this call was launched from. So are you saying that there was like another Senate situation where like there was another instance of rape? Like is St. Louis Obispo a hotbed for senatorial staffers? Like maybe that's the reason
potentially
who get raped?
The only thing that we know that actually matches up 100% is your first point about this matching timing and matching when the firing happened. Okay. The other things that it's her mom. So far, all we've had to verify that is that we have Tara Reade making that claim in the property record without any verification of a way to determine that is actually the mom, right? The property record doesn't mean a lot. It just means a Jeanette, whatever her name was, actually lived in San Luis Obispo. Till we confirm the 2 of the points you actually made, then they're not actually, till we confirm that it is her mother and she lived in San Luis Obispo, then the first point to me could be just coincidence.
Wait, so the property records is not confirmation, is what you're saying?
Yeah, because all it is confirming a person named Jeanette, whatever, Gilanthium. I forgot what it was. I don't have the link to the article in front of me, right? All that confirms is that that person lived there. It does not confirm linkage that is actually Tara Reade's mom. The only way we have to confirm that it's Tara Reade's mom right now is Tara Reade has claimed that. We need to verify that. Now, if we verify it, and then that we have verification that that is her mom, she lived there.
If all 3 of those, but
you cannot admit, right? Tell me this, Hassan. If someone named Jeanette who lived in San Luis Obispo in 1993, does that prove to you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that that person is Tara Reade's mom? There's no way you can say that honestly is true. Because
but that's not the case, H. Bizzle. You're conveniently ignoring the fact that her call-in was literally completely matched up with Tara Reade's. Her call-in was matched up with Tara Reade's accusations. The timing matches up, and the fucking property records places her at the fucking county that she was calling from.
Yeah. For the
it's not just Tara Reade saying this is my mommy.
The person who called in.
2 other very key pieces of information that I brought up.
The person who called in. It doesn't confirm the linkage that it is her mom.
So, but that's
like, all we gotta confirm.
I'm trying to understand where you're coming from very desperately because I respect your opinions. Are you saying that in St. Louis Obispo, okay?
It's San Luis Obispo.
St. Louis Obispo, whatever. Who cares? That county. There were numerous mothers of congressional staffers, okay, that were being potentially sexually assaulted.
The devil.
Hi, everyone.
Well, for one, the recording or the transcript, I only read that transcript part, doesn't necessarily say clearly it was sexual assault. It hints at something inappropriate, right? That's one, okay?
Okay.
And 2, to my point that this whole thing
inappropriate
could be
enough that
concocted.
It would potentially damage a campaign, but like that's the key part.
Well, yeah, but to my point, this whole thing could have been put together. All right, if we get the linkage showing that is actually her mom, and her mom was that Jeanette woman, then my concerns would be thrown out the window, and I'd be like, yeah, this, is starting to look very, very clear. I think we just need to prove that. Okay. And
okay, but
because
being
otherwise,
in that place and the timing matching up, like the other 2 pieces of evidence that you keep moving forward. Let's say you don't believe Tara Reade, which you don't.
You're not willing to take it from my side, which is that someone went and found had this lying on the shelf, matched it up to someone who left the buy-in office and put the whole thing together. Okay. If you do not confirm that's the mother, then that literally could be like the case, right? Because you have a recording, then you have no linkage of that recording in reality to the person who made the accusation. If you prove that that is the mom, or Jeanette, whatever, is actually Tara Reade's mom, then you have direct linkage, and then this thing, becomes very real.
I heavily doubt that a lot of people are going to be as open-minded as you are, or you claim to be, if the additional information does come out and we verify that this is, as a matter of fact, her mom. If you are saying this with property records, then I don't know what would be.
Property records do not prove parentage or any linkage on that. That just proves the mom lived there, or not the mom. That proves the Jeanette, whatever her name is, lived there. Okay,
yeah,
it doesn't
Tara
actually
Reade's
prove any
mom
type of
lived in that area,
link.
and the timing of her call matches up with the timing of Tara Reade being fired, and the details matches up with Tara Reade's account.
Well, I just think that I'm willing to consider very clearly that all this is true. And I think if you found that actually and showed linkage that is actually the mother, then that would potentially be an open and shut issue.
What would be a good way to confirm this, you think?
Takeaway is that
I think they should. I think Tara Reade should be able to produce her birth certificate so we can see who her freaking mom is. If it matches the no, I'm serious. Because if not, this whole accusation based on this video could be some sort of completely false thing. It could be completely made up.
You're right, brother. We do need that birth certificate.
Oh God, fuck. I'm not gonna win you or Chad over, so this is just.
I mean, come on, dude. I mean, I'm sure I got plenty of fucking liberals in here who want to believe you. I'm sure they have been awfully quiet so far. I don't know why.
I mean, this story keeps getting worse. Okay, I totally agree on that. The stuff adds up. All right, but I think that to me now, maybe this is because you know how cynical I am and suspicious of everything, right? Think of how far ahead I was talking about COVID and being
sure,
my mind works in a pessimistic place. Okay.
Me too.
Well, no, I agree. I mean, we look at the world very cynically. I think we should just wait and see what more comes out. I mean, I think, this is not not a news story now based on what Grimm has reported in this video coming out, and the Biden campaign is going to have to address it. And, what the New York Times basically said they pulled out of their story and we talked about, means that we should give some credence to any type of claim on this. And I don't know what they do on that. But I think we should wait.
Okay, wait. So birth certificate would prove what to you? That
that's birth certificate would list the mother, and that would prove beyond a shadow of a doubt this Jeanette, whatever her name is the actual mother. Because right now, the only thing we're basing the claim that she is the mother on is Tara Reade said, that is my mother's voice, and that is my mom. Right?
Wait, why? Wait, hold on. I'm gonna put my H Bizzle cap on really quickly. Why won't? Wait, that doesn't prove anything. There could be two different people at that time in that place. There could be two different Jeanettes. Names change. What if it was a maiden name? There are so many ways that you could discredit that. Birth certificate does not put her in St. Louis Obispo. The birth certificate doesn't change anything. The birth certificate
San Luis, not St. Louis.
Okay, San Luis, whatever. It doesn't.
It's right up the coast from you. That's where Maya Higa's streaming.
Okay, from. I don't care about where it's from. I'm gonna say it wrong no matter what happens.
That is true, right? But I would say that a birth certificate listing Tara Reade's parents, right, would be pretty conclusive evidence compared to her just saying it, right? And then I think this whole video
this is already here. It's verified information.
What do you mean?
Yeah, Tara McCabe, Colin Moulton, Jeanette L. Altimus, 86, lived in Newhall, California, St. Louis Obispo in California, and also Seattle, Washington. Okay, Santa Cruz, California, Morro Bay, California.
Where are you seeing that?
It's just, this is easily verifiable information. Here you go. this doesn't change anything because you're gonna say that it's like you're just simply going to say that it doesn't matter because like this doesn't prove that
You
like
don't
this
know
is
that.
okay. Well, there you go. I literally have her address here as well, like her public records.
Yeah, but I just like, I think on that, like a public records up on the internet is just, that could be anything. It could be accurate, it might not be. A birth certificate is a lot more conclusive on who the actual mother
So
is.
I literally gave you the linkage that you were asking for, and now you're like, okay, well, we need a birth certificate.
All right, I just saw now. Jeanette Mesnall. Tara McCabe, Colin Moulton. I don't know. I think we'd have to look into it in more detail. Like, the background search site, until you see documentation, you don't know necessarily. That could all be gamed potentially. I know that sounds extreme, but like, if you're in a court case, you'd have to actually show evidence to prove that someone is like the mother or father of someone. That's like common.
Okay. No, we do need the long form birth certificate, actually. You're right.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Gotta do it so the K-Konas get it, right? Or the Bizzles get it. That's probably what Chad is thinking. All right, man, I'll get off. I've been talking too long. Chat, it was fun. I know y'all think I'm trash. Just be a little skeptical for a bit. I think, Hassan, I think we'll learn a lot more very quickly on this, though. So I think this will be resolved a lot quicker than we realize. Okay. All right.
All right. Thanks
Love
for
you
coming
guys
on.
in chat. I know y'all hate me, but, at least I'm good entertainment. Adios, amigo.
Thank you. All right. Bye. Okay. That was. My head is on fire.